sometimes people talk about privileges, and they're sort of, I guess, from my understanding, things that put you in an advantage that you're privileged to have because you didn't really work for them, or things that have put you at an advantage in your area that you didn't work for, like how you look might affect things, or what race you are in your area, and those are sort of debatable whether or not how you look affected in your area. But yeah, they can be seen as privileges at times. But the thing I was thinking about this evening was weight privilege, because I don't think that is a debatable thing. I think that it is a privilege to be thin. It's definitely an advantage to be thin, and I don't really think that's debatable. I can't think of many examples in which it would be an overall advantage to be obese or, of a higher weight. Even though it might not be a bad thing to be a higher or even an average or normal weight, it's still an advantage to be thin. I just want to make clear right there that I'm not trying to say something bad about people of a higher weight. And I guess I'm just saying that I take for granted too much, or I may just take for granted at all, that I am thin, and that is a privilege or an advantage. That's the thing. For example, if I open a magazine that sells clothes, the models in it are likely to be thin people. In fact, if the models in the magazine were above my size, they would be considered plus size models, probably. Which is absurd, because if you met someone and they were just above my size or something, you wouldn't consider them plus size. But in the model industry, they would be considered plus size. So in most clothing magazines, the clothing is worn by thin people, and the mannequins in shops that sell clothes are thin, and the clothes around them are sort of pegged at the back to tighten them. And in the clothing shop, it's likely that the sizes of clothes on offer will fit me, or be catered towards you starting at my size. It's unlikely that I'll go into a clothes shop and find that nothing fits. It's likely that they're going to have my size, or that it's going to be too big. It's likely that seats in places like cinemas, theatres, airports, cars, roller coasters are going to be okay for me. I don't have to think about that. That's not a problem for me because I'm a thin person. All these things that I don't even have to think about because I'm a thin person. And those are advantages that are sort of inflicted onto everyday life, or all of life, I guess, or just people's perception of what is normal. If you open magazines and the depiction of, or the representation of people wearing clothes is people who are really thin, then that's not a good representation of showing normal people or what society is. Maybe being fed a poor representation, not being in tune with the sorts of advantages we're getting, or the problems that others might be facing, or anything like that. To be honest, to me it's a bit of an emotional issue, because I don't really feel like I chose to be a thin person. I feel like I've been a thin person all of my life, as far as I know. And, at no point when I was a child did I sit down and have to think about diet or exercise or anything like that, or have to consciously do anything. I'm just a thin person. I don't know how that comes about. It's just something that is, and some people are on the other side where maybe they grew up facing weight problems or anything like that, and then they're faced with a disadvantage in clothing stores and all over the place, and in magazines and everywhere. And then I guess society is not equipped for caring about the problems that they face, in my opinion. Whole sets of other problems that come with that. It's kind of emotional in that regard. It sort of segregates, I guess, because I've noticed that I've become aware of the gap that there is, the gap that I didn't decide should exist in representation or in any of that, and the jealousy that might exist therein, and so forth. And I think it's a bit of an issue. But anyway, so it's not even a debatable thing. I think that being thin is an advantage. It's a bit of a privilege, and I don't know, it's something I am, that I didn't work for it or anything. It's just something that I am. I don't know where I was going with this, by the way. This is the end of the video.